I'm here to save you some money. This vehicle is going to be a total loss.
The phrase total loss has never been more appropriate. This insurance company just totaled trust in the process. All right, thanks for being here, guys. Rob, you have a phrase that you are going to share with us: the pit maneuver.
The pit maneuver.
This is a thing used in law enforcement to stop bad guys, right?
Yeah, it is. When people are evading the police and they won't stop, and sometimes they'll come up on the side of them, hit them with the corner of their car, which spins them around out of control.
Right.
And then yet sometimes that happens just in real life when accidents occur, especially on snowy mountain roads. That's kind of what happened to this vehicle we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Happy Saturday morning to you, Rob.
Happy Saturday, Eric. Good to be here. Thanks for everybody else being here.
Absolutely. Rob, this car that we're showing here was in an accident that very much replicates what damage could be happening if the car were in a pit maneuver. It just happened on a snowy road up in the mountains.
Yes.
Talk to us about when the car came to us. What was your initial assessment?
I met the guest when the car arrived on the tow truck.
Yeah.
And said, I hope you're not in love with this car, because it's pretty bad and probably going to land up being a total loss.
All right.
And you could see the structure, right? I mean,
absolutely. Now, this car is not a Colorado resident. This is a car from New Jersey, as I
Yes.
understand.
Yeah.
And the person driving it lives in New Jersey.
Yes.
And their insurance company is from New Jersey.
Lives in Jersey.
Yeah. They don't have an outlet here.
No. They're a Jersey insurer.
Okay. So what's the process? What happened?
Well, so let me just say that what is today's date already? We're at January 24th.
Yeah.
Or 25th.
Yep.
The vehicle arrived here December 7th.
Wow. Pearl Harbor Day. It's a bad day for everybody.
And so we had the conversation, and she's going through her own insurer. And so the insurer was contacted. The insurer does not have appraisers out here because it's a New Jersey, kind of domiciled insurer.
Right.
And so they hire a third-party adjusting company.
An independent appraiser.
Independent appraiser.
Gotcha.
But it's a gigantic company
Okay.
that handles these things for all of their out-of-state stuff.
I understand.
That took a couple of weeks to get that settled. And I got a phone call that the adjuster was coming to look at the car. And it had snowed, so I got all the snow off it, washed the car, brought it inside, had it all nice and warm, so that the gentleman could take a very good look at it.
Yeah.
And showed him the damage. At that time, the bumper was still on it. You're looking at a picture of it with the bumper off of it.
Right.
But the second picture I have
Yep.
shows the gap between the quarter panel and the rear door, and how it took that whole rear end and pushed it over.
You bet.
And all the inner structure that's all welded together everything is over and collapsed. And I'm going through all this with it, not to mention on the other side of the vehicle,
Yeah, take a look at this.
the door was crashed at the same time. So when that car spun around, thank God they were able to get it under control, because they're on a mountain road.
Yeah.
On one side, the mountain goes up, and the other side, the mountain goes down. So,
Really down.
The good news in all this is nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
But this car was spun around pretty good.
Sure.
And so it hit the door on the passenger side.
Right.
And so I'm showing him the door on the passenger side, explaining that, you can't just replace the door. You're going to have to paint, in both directions in order to get the color to match, especially on this particular car.
Right.
Also, all the damage
Right.
on the driver's side
Yeah,
of the car.
the very clearly obvious damage on both sides.
Yeah. So he took his notes and took pictures and all the rest of that. And I told him, I'm here to save you some money. This vehicle is going to be a total loss. We don't need to go through the whole process of disassembly and writing it up an estimate and all the rest of that.
What was the key indicator for you that it was going to be a total loss?
The structural damage inside the wheelhouse and the way, if you look at that gap between the door and the quarter, that everything was, rolled over.
Well, surely the original equipment manufacturer, the designer of the car, has procedures for fixing that wheelhouse.
The wheelhouse is actually two pieces. One is the outer, which attaches to the inner, and then the inner is a gigantic chunk of metal that welds to the floor and...
Very structural.
Yeah, it's very structural.
And there are no procedures for the inner?
No, there's no procedures for the inner, but we didn't even know that at this point.
Okay.
We didn't even know that at this point.
I see.
Because what happens next is a week or so later, we get a copy of his estimate to repair the vehicle for a little over $7,000. And I'm like...
When did you stop counting?
At $19,000, we stopped writing. So on this estimate was a note that said, that acknowledged the shop said potential total loss. They didn't think it was, obviously, because it's only $7,000 worth of damage. And to please disassemble the car, write a thorough supplement, and send that up, which we did.
Okay.
And our estimate was $19,000. And we stopped because as we're writing this type of a thing, we're going through the factory procedures, the Toyota procedures.
Right.
And looking up each thing. And lo and behold, there's no procedure for that inner.
No procedure at all.
No procedure at all for how they want it installed.
What do we do when there are no procedures?
I don't fix the car.
Hello?
Yeah. You have to have procedures. You need to know the number of welds. You need to know where the welds should be. You need to know if it needs structural adhesive or not. You need to know the type of welds.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes into attaching something that's welded on.
Right.
You don't do it without procedures.
Should not an independent adjuster, should they not know that? Should they be aware of that? And if they weren't aware of it, because we make the case that many of the adjusters who come through our front door don't know the procedures because they're not invested, right?
But the actual procedures, no. But general repairability, they should have a sense of that.
But we rely upon you, the expert, to educate them, and I'm sure that you did, yes?
Yes, of course, of course. So we write up this estimate at the request.
Yes.
Disassemble the vehicle, write up the estimate at the request, send it up to them for $19,000, and also explaining that it needs an inner wheelhouse and there's no procedure available for that. This car is a total loss. Which even if there was, it would be a total loss because of the massiveness of what it would take to replace that.
Sure.
I mean, you'd be taking out the hybrid battery, all the rear seats, the sensors, wiring harnesses, airbags.
It doesn't stop at $19,000, does it?
No. It would have been much more than that.
Yeah.
Which all just by itself would have totaled the car.
Right.
Because what we're looking at here is a 2021 Lexus NX, I believe, hybrid.
All right. What was their response when you told them that this is a total?
They sent out a reinspector.
A what?
Yeah, which is
A re-inspector?
Yeah, which generally we do not allow re-inspectors on the lot.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. That's Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We don't allow them, generally speaking, but I had a little chat with this gentleman and learned that he wasn't here really to re-inspect it necessarily to... Because the re-inspectors usually bully the person that wrote the estimate from the insurance company and say you wrote too much and all the rest of that other stuff. This guy was here, get this, to take pictures. He didn't know anything about the loss. He didn't know anything about the repairs. He was just here to take pictures. No notes. Just pictures.
What a colossal cluster.
Yeah. And he didn't arrive here until 4:30 in the afternoon. But once again, I had it washed and inside so that he could see it nice and clean and easily go over it.
Now, it's my understanding that after he took these glamour shots and sent them to New Jersey.
To somebody.
Somebody, right? That somewhere along the line, their side of the estimate actually went down.
Yeah, several times. Whatever somebody wrote, then there'd be another sup removing some stuff.
Removing stuff.
And then removing some more stuff. And then another sup would add a little bit more. And then it might get removed, some more stuff removed. And then add a little more.
I don't think we ever got past $7,000, though.
No, well, originally it was 8,000.
Oh, I
but
see.
then that was, whittled down by somebody else.
I gotcha. Wow.
Between sub 2 and 3, I think. But anyway, what is the point of asking us to write you a thorough estimate and disassemble the vehicle and send all those pictures and estimates and all the rest of that up with our professional opinions and knowledge from being Lexus authorized, and then you just send a guy with a cell phone to take pictures and then return after he sent his pictures in? They send another estimate that was still $7,000 and change. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Right.
So the file handler at the insurance company
In New Jersey.
writes me a 2-line email. Please see the attached supplement. Please confirm you're moving forward with repairs.
Brevity is an art form in New Jersey.
Yeah. And I said, I saw this when I was at home
Yeah.
and said, no. Good morning. I wanted to reply to your email as quickly as possible. We are not, capital NOT, moving forward with the repairs at this time. The estimate provided is nowhere near representative of what it would take to repair this vehicle if it were repairable. And it's not.
And it's not.
I've made everyone I have come across aware this vehicle is a total loss from the very beginning. The incompetence that this adjusting company has shown throughout this process is far beyond anything I have seen in quite some time.
This underscores another issue, and we talked about it a little bit prior to turning on the camera, and that is one of the most common questions we get, whether it's online on our website or in person, over the phone, and I work with a number of body shops all around the country. I hear this from them, and that is, how long is it going to take to get my vehicle back?
We're already well over a month, knocking on a door of 2 months, and a car that should have been totaled and gone away, and they should be driving a new car by now,
Right.
still has no resolution.
Yeah.
Which I will be getting on the phone with this poor person at the insurance company. But I kind of feel somewhat bad for her because she's only getting information from the people she hired.
Right.
She needs to get her money refunded because what they provided so far is nothing but a joke. It's horrible. Now, the guest has a lot of areas of recovery here if we need to go down those lines. But at this point, I'm going to call and just try to have some reason. I asked, by the way, in my email, would it be possible to have a professional and experienced damage appraiser review this vehicle?
Wow.
And that has not happened either. Maybe they're on a short budget. I don't know.
The story itself is tragic. Grateful that nobody was injured in the accident.
There's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
But if they were in a rental, they would have run out of rental by now.
And there's the question is how much ancillary injury comes, not necessarily physical injury, but financial injury, being put out of the vehicle. You know, I don't know what their situation is, but I'll bet you they took a plane back to Jersey. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on here. And the reason I really wanted to share this part with you is, look, these days, collision repair is so much more intense, so much more severity.
It's more administrative than it is repairing cars.
Yeah, yeah. And this administrative snafu here is just another example of what we see day in and day out from insurers, whether they're in state or out. And you just got to be aware of this. And I'm sorry that doesn't have a nice warm fuzzy coat on it, but that's kind of the way that it is.
Yeah, it's frustrating for everybody because, by the way, we're not repairing a vehicle.
Right.
And we're going through all this phone calls and emails and estimates and pictures and all the rest of this to try to help out this guest who's from out of state.
Right.
And again, I'm not so much blaming the insurer other than maybe they're incompetent for hiring this company. I don't know.
It's bad choices one way or the other.
But it's problematic. And here's the one little real kind of fun part.
Yeah.
They hire this company to do a damage appraisal.
Yeah.
And then that sub company subs it out to somebody else that, oh, by the way, I'm hearing is in Florida.
And quite possibly a family member.
Well, of somebody, who knows? I mean, this is just stories I've heard of this particular case. It's
wow.
It's a little bit of a nightmare. We're going to get through it with this guest.
Yeah, as we always do.
As we always do. The timeline is not within our control. We put all the stuff as quickly as possible up to them. They sit on it, scratching their head, wondering, and we're the repair experts. You asked us to provide you information and documentation. We did in an expeditious way. Excuse me. And you regarded it in no way, shape, or form. I mean, $7,000 is going to take 3 times that to fix this car.
Yeah.
If it were fixable.
If it were fixable, which it's not.
So we'll keep you up to date on this one and show you how it all works out so that you know what to do if you run across this. But with these outside appraisers and many times the rules that the insurance companies push down, you know, they may write this and then the insurance company looks at it and no, we don't pay for that, we don't pay for that, we don't pay for that, take that off. This is your car and your safety. Yeah. It's done its job. It kept this young gal safe and the rest of the people that were in the car. Let's do the right thing here.
And that's the bottom line right there. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so very much. We appreciate you and your support. If you'd like to click the thumbs up, that would be helpful. And if you have more questions about the way that the insurer actually works behind the scenes, take a look at this other video we got coming up here. It's important, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Have a great day. See you next week.